Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another player props video. This one we're talking about the NFL for Friday. We have a Friday NFL game, Packers, Eagles. Excited to get into this one. Great game on Thursday night. We have 4 picks in the video for this game for you to consider, so stay tuned to hear all 4 of the picks. Also, we're partnered with Prop Projections this NFL season. They do player prop projections for the NFL and MLB, so check them out. They're giving out their spreadsheet on for the Packers Eagles game for free, so definitely join up for free with the link down below. Follow them on their Patreon. They do also have their full spreadsheet out for Sunday already, which they'll be updating closer to Sunday. They have over 400 projections up for the NFL. They'll give you the line here, their projection, and the estimated win percentage, and you could sort this by the top winning percentage based on their projections. And we've been locked in the Dynamo Discord all summer long. Excited to get into NFL, the NFL channel. You can see a big win here from a private Discord member, but we're opening it up for free. You can get in here and talk about the NFL. Tons of picks over here in the Discord as well, especially the private Discord. We have cappers giving out picks. So get in the Discord if you want to talk about player props and the NFL. But we cover all sports over there. So we'll see you guys over in the Discord as well. That'll be linked down below. Join up for free. Get in here, lock in for the NFL season. Let's get into this one. The first pick I'm going to, it's going to be Jaden Reed over on his receptions at 3.5 here. Definitely one I'm liking. One that he was hitting very consistently at the end of last season. I think he's going to be the number one target in Green Bay. You also have Christian Watson there and some other guys, but I do think Jaden Reed should be the one seeing the most targets, getting the most catches week in and week out. So I am liking him in this matchup. Obviously, Philadelphia gives up a ton of pass yards and reception. I do like going to Reed. We could check this one out over on Outlier. Outlier does have a free 7-day trial. If you play player props a lot, like I do every single day, I use this tool every single day, so definitely worth getting in here. You could use a free 7-day trial if you haven't on Outlier yet. Just check the link down in the description. But you can see last season, this was a 61% hit rate for Jaden Reed, and he's playing a lot more at the end of the year. You can see all this green here towards the end of the season. So you can also look in his last 10 games. He hit this in 9 of his last 10 games last year. So definitely turned it on at the end of last year. We can see over here on the side, Philadelphia receptions, 31st in the NFL, giving up 25 catches per game last season. Obviously, they have different secondary here, but still, I think something we could target early on in the season. We can also see his reception and target share. Games with multiple games here with 8 targets, which we love to see. So 1, 2, 3 games in a row, 4, 5 games with 8 or more targets. Ton of games here with 4 or more catches at the end of the year when he was the clear number one on the team. So I definitely like going to Jaden Reed here in this matchup. I think a great spot for him to continue to hit this like he was at the end of last season. I think the number one target, and we're getting a good line here. Looking at this one compared to other sports books, you could see that FanDuel has this at minus 120 to go over, minus 125 DraftKings, minus 135 on Caesars. So a bunch of these sports books liking the over. I like going with what the sports books like, especially when some of the data backs it up as well. So going to Jaden Reed here, over on his catches at 3.5 for this one, in a great matchup against Philadelphia. For the next one, we're going to run it back here with another Green Bay Packers receiver. We're going to go to Davante Wix, under on his catches at 2.5. So for Wix here, I think he's going to be pretty low in the pecking order as far as in this passing game. Similar to kind of what we saw last year, but we got a full, healthy Packers receiving group here in week 1. So I don't think Wix is going to get to that 3-catch mark when you got Jaden Reed, Watson, Romeo Dobbs. You also got Musgrave out there and some other guys. So we can look at Wix here over a 2.5 on Outlier, and we could see that this one was a 41% hit rate last year. There were a lot of games where he just didn't see the targets. So looking at his targets, a lot of games here with 2 or less targets, which obviously you can't get to 3 catches with just 2 targets. So good amount of games here seeing 2 or less, and then his catch percentage on his targets was 67%. You could see up here as well. And he also saw more than half his games with 4 or less targets. And at just a 67% catch rate on those targets, he wouldn't get there with 4 targets either. You also have all these guys playing. So something you can do on Outlier is we can look at games last year where Christian Watson played, and Jaden Reed, and Romeo Doubs, and Musgrave, and then we can look at this, and it was just 3 of 9 games. When all those guys were playing, he was even lower in the pecking order as far as targets and catches. Hit it in just 33% of games as well. So another cool thing you can do there on Outlier. So for Wix, not liking him in this one, which is a fully healthy roster, he could be, 4th or even 5th here in targets in this game. So I'm not liking him to get 2-3 catches in this one. For the next pick here, I'm going to go to Saquon Barkley over on his rushing yards in his Philadelphia debut. I'm liking Barkley here to get 65 rushing yards or more. Something he's consistently done when he's getting the carries, and he should be in line for him. In this game, I think they're going to feed him the ball. And looking at Saquon Barkley here on Outlier, the first thing you notice here is that this one opened at 78.5, and then it dropped to 63.5, 64.5 now. So I think 64.5, pretty good line we're getting this at. Green Bay, one place you can target them is rushing on defense here. 28th in the league in rushing yards allowed. Allowed over 128 per game last season. So I think Saquon can have a nice day. If we come down and see the hit rate on this one, 57% hit rate last year. Behind that pretty terrible New York Giants offensive line here. Even some games where Saquon, did get a little banged up and didn't get a ton of carries. Like a lot of games here you can see in this Giants offense when they were down last year where he saw 14 or less carries. So 6 of 14 games last year he saw 14 or less carries, which I think he's going to see 15, 16 in this game. If we actually look at his line as far as carries are expected, rush attempts here, it is set at 15.5. So they expect, 15, 16 carries, like I said, in this game for him. And at Green Bay, 26 in the league, they give up, or teams run 29 times against them on average and give up a ton of yards as well. So I am liking Saquon here on this line to hit this in his debut, and I think that's where you can kind of expose this Green Bay defense. For the next one, we're going back to the Packers. I'm going to take Jordan Love over on his rush yards here at 7.5. I think that's an area where Jordan Love can improve, is on his impact in the rushing game. I think this is going to be a close one. Packers are actually underdogs, so if we look at Jordan Love, I think when they're going to be down in this game, and he may have to be running the ball here more than he's accustomed to, and he can make plays with his legs when he needs to. I think this is a game where he may do it. So if we look at his rushing yards at over 7.5 here, 53% of the time last year he did hit this one, and the last 4 games of the season he did not, but he was getting some rushing attempts here, which was interesting. So he saw 5 attempts against San Francisco, and I'm pretty sure that one of those, if I remember this game, was like a mishandled snap or something where they discounted him a bunch of yards here. He would have hit it in this one. And then this game against Chicago, 3 rushing attempts for -1 yards. So probably took a knee or something here to go negative. And playing from behind is what they're expected in this game, as they're underdogs by 3 or 3.5 points. I don't think he's going to be taking a knee to go under on this, and I do think he will be making some plays with his legs to try to be moving the chains. Another thing you can do here is you can look at Philadelphia rushing yards defense, 10th in the league, pretty respectable as far as rushing defense, but you can look position specific. So Philadelphia rushing defense against quarterbacks are actually 20th in the league, give up almost 19 yards per game rushing to quarterbacks. So that does help out Love here, that Philadelphia on the ground will give up some more yards to quarterbacks as well. So I am liking Jordan Love here to go over on his rushing yards. And if you guys want to lock in for the NFL season, get in the Dynamo Discord here for free. You can see one of our private Discord members just hit a 20x on Thursday night, but we have a bunch of people in here talking about the NFL, talking about the picks they like. So lock in for the NFL season. At least get in the free sections here. We talk about a ton of picks in here and have been locked in, especially the private Discord where we have a bunch of cappers giving out picks. So that'll be linked down below. But also follow Prop Projections. We're partnered with them. They're giving out their player prop projections spreadsheet for this game tomorrow for free on their Patreon. So follow them for free on their Patreon. You're going to get their projections that have been spot on for the MLB season. Excited to see what they can do for the NFL season. So check that out as well. And they have over 400 props up for Sunday's games. Lock in for the NFL season. We'll see you guys over in the Dynamo Discord, and follow Prop Projections. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in another one.